The Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Reaper Apparel Company. Reaper Apparel offers a casual line of superb fit, finish, and comfort. We design for those who refuse to die slowly and choose to live untamed. For those who aren't afraid to face the dark, for the ones that thrive in it, and for those who can appreciate life through a grim lens. That's Reaper Apparel Company. Go to the link in the description of this episode, use the promo code Mike Bono, and get 10% off. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by my own personal merch store, the Stupid Should Hurt merch store. I have hats, I have t-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, water bottles, notebooks, you name it, I've got it. The description and the link for that will be in the description of this episode. Also, right now, if you use the promo code WELCOME, I will give you 5% off of your first purchase. That's the Stupid Should Hurt merch store. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Tactical Brotherhood, all American-made apparel, which helps support the Second Amendment. You can also find all this in the description of this episode with the link, Tactical Brotherhood. Part of every proceed does go to helping veterans, as it is a very good cause. All American-made products made right here in Minnesota. Go and check them out. Use the promo code PATRIOT15 to get 15% off your purchase. Now, let's start the show. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Ride Home Rants podcast. This is, as always, your host, Mike Bono. I have a great guest for us today. He's coming to us all the way from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I actually went to college with this man. We go way back. Matt Landowski joins the show. Matt, thanks for joining, brother.
Bono, thanks for having me, brother. I truly appreciate it. This is such a pleasure, man.
Hey, not a problem. I was excited when good old Fitty told me we were getting another BC alum coming on the show. So
love that guy, man. He was a great teammate of mine, and he has a lot of heart, man. Not only on the field but in life.
Absolutely, he's been a godsend to this show here and helping get the show off the ground when I first started it 4 years ago. So. He's been along for the ride for the past 4 years here with us here at Ride Home Rants. So we'll get into all that, and I'm sure we're going to have a good Fitty story or two coming up here a little later on. But for the listeners out there, tell everybody where you grew up and like where you went to high school and that stuff.
So I grew up in Western Pennsylvania, born and raised. Went to Kiski area high school. And I was a sports-minded guy, sports-loving guy my whole life, man. We were always doing something, me and my two brothers, baseball, wrestling, football, constantly. My parents were taking us somewhere. We were having backyard games, me, my brothers, my cousin, playing baseball 2-on-2. That always ended bad, right?
Never ends good. It never ends well.
Little fist fight or two at the end, coming out, But, we loved each other at the end of the day. But it was great, man, growing up in Western Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh area. I loved it, man. And sports they were everything to me. And I couldn't have been happier as a kid and where I came from, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I grew up in West Virginia. It was about 45 minutes to an hour outside of Pittsburgh. So, I was always in Pittsburgh, always doing something, going to games or something like that. And, Pittsburgh's a great town. I mean, a lot of people crap on it a lot, but I don't get it. I don't get why people don't like the area. I mean, driving in the city, it's a nightmare no matter when you go. And it's a big city. You're going to hit traffic. Just learn to deal with it. But you said something that, it resonates with me. I didn't have any brothers growing up. So me and my friends, we would always play pickup basketball, pickup baseball, pick up football games in the backyards and stuff like that. And That was just a thing to do kind of in the Ohio Valley area, that tri-state area there in West Virginia, Steubenville, and Pittsburgh area. That was just kind of seems to be like sports are king, especially high school sports. Did you feel that growing up?
Oh, absolutely. Friday night lights were everything, man, with football and baseball was, we were playing baseball every single day in the summertime. And, Friday night lights, you live for it. It's what you were born to do around here, man. And, you get to that high school level and the pressure's on, everybody's telling you, I remember my dad telling me one time when I was in high school, and he told me, everybody remembers you from, football and everything you do in high school. And that's just what I grew up with, man. And I lived by that, play as hard as you could and do as best as you possibly could, grind it out.
Yeah, I was a habitual grinder in high school playing football. I was the habitual backup special teamer. Didn't see a lot of playing time, but there's still people from back home now that even like if I run into them, they're like, "Oh, you're that safety that Zach Collaros made look stupid on that one play." I was like, they were beating us like 63-0. Like there was no reason for me to be in the game other than that. Like, yeah, he made me look stupid. I don't even know why he was still playing at that point in time. If I was in the game, I still remember the play. I was a free safety, and it was early fourth quarter, and it was, like I said, it was probably 45-0 at this point in time, and they came out in a 4-wide set. I was like, are we kidding me here? Like, there's no way they're throwing the ball. So I was cheating up a little bit. Then I heard Zach Collaros go check 4, and I knew from the scouting report that meant he just called 4 verticals. I had no matter what I did, it was wrong. So and they scored, and like people were still like, oh yeah, you got burnt on that play. I was like, well, yeah, of course. There was 2 streaking wide receivers that ran like a 4.2 40. I wasn't the fastest guy on the field. Like I ran maybe a 5 flat. Like that's the kind of speed I was working with, and it's like, yeah, I got beat. That was my sophomore year. I'm 34 years old. We still remember that play? We're still talking about that? Okay, got it. So yeah, you definitely get remembered for the good, the bad, and the ugly for sure in that area.
Oh yeah, I was. I'd say I was a little undersized in high school, and I was 165 pounds, 170 pounds, soaking wet. Playing middle linebacker at a bigger school in the area. And, I was a little bit of the underdog at the time. And, but I had a fun high school career, and I had a great high school career. And, I could have been happier. And, brings you back to the olden days. And principal of mine, Mr. Anthony Ganella, he actually told me when I was in 11th grade, after my 11th grade season, he was like, hey, man, you're going to play college football. I'm like, you're out of your mind, man. Myself, like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, man. He's like, we're going to throw 20 pounds on you, get your speed up a little bit. You're going to play college football. I'm like, all right. I go home with a big smile on my face. I'm telling my parents, like the whole story. And they were like thinking I'm crazy, I'm like, where the heck am I playing college football at? So after my senior year, Mr. Ganella, made some calls down to Bethany, got Coach Nizel down there, and came down to Kiski Area High School, and we talked a little bit and all that stuff. And I had no idea what I wanted to get into academically and stuff like that. I just was like, had my mindset, I'm going to play. I got 4 more years of football. This is a gift,
Right.
So, yeah, man, he got me all on board. I ended up putting the 20 pounds on, going into lifting and all that stuff in the off season, and ended up going to Bethany, man, and meeting you guys. And, it was a great experience, man.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, yeah, you brought me right into what I wanted to go into next year, being at Bethany and playing football at Bethany. So, like, what was the recruiting process like? I know you said in your senior year they had you, had the coaches there, but, what was that recruiting process like for you? And then why did you ultimately pick Bethany?
I picked Bethany. Well, I came from a bigger school, and it was tough. Not that like I didn't mind the toughness part of being at a bigger school, but I needed the smaller academic classrooms. I needed I felt like it was a better way of making friends, all that good stuff. And at a smaller, community of Bethany. So.
Yeah, Bethany was, for the people that are nowhere near Bethany College, you could walk across the entire campus in 10 minutes. Like, that's the size of the school. It was a very small, very close-knit group of people that went there, for sure. I mean, I still have friends to this day. Obviously, Johnny and everybody else that, went to Bethany that's been on the show and everything like that. But other people, too, that, you still keep those close relationships that you built there. And, it's great to see, and, still being able to connect with people down the road and seeing what they're doing now. I love doing it, man. I love talking to the bison of, of Bethany, for sure.
Can't hide that bison pride, baby.
No, and Bethany wasn't even the first choice for schools for me. Because I played football, but I also swam, and swimming was the better sport for me. And, I had a bunch of offers from a bunch of D1 schools. And if it wasn't for hurting my shoulder my senior year of football at Brook in high school, then I was going to WVU. That was the whole goal for me. I'm going to Morgantown. I'm going to swim for Morgantown. Like, that's the dream. WVU has always been the school of choice for me. And then as soon as they got wind that I hurt my shoulder, everybody but Bethany dropped their scholarship offers for me. So obviously, I ended up at Bethany, and I'm happy I did. I mean, even though it was kind of like the last resort. I don't even want to say that, the last resort type of deal for me. But yeah, the recruiting process was definitely. You wouldn't think that, okay, you're a swimmer, there's not going to be like a football recruiting process. Oh no, it's just like it would be if they were recruiting me for football. The same thing for swimming. But it was a lot of fun, and I loved every minute of Bethany. I really did. All 5 years that I ended up having to go there. So yeah, I did a victory lap there.
Heck yeah, baby. I mean, Bethany's it was a great place, and their academics there are unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I want to special shout out to some people who mentored me there and helped me out along the ways, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without them, honestly. Mrs. Samson, Gerald Schultz, and Heather Taylor. Special shout out to them, and I wouldn't be where I'm at now without them, man. Academically, and that would. I mean, I wouldn't have played football without them either. So.
Yeah, I know all three of them very well. I met with them weekly. All three of them, Miss Samson, Schultz, and Heather Taylor. It was every week, at least once, maybe if not twice a week, to go in there for academics. I mean, I tell people, and I make the joke all the time, you don't become a stand-up comedian when you're book smart. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not something that you do and end up doing. So, yeah. But, yeah, kudos to all three of them for getting me through Bethany College.
Yeah, and I want a special shout out also to Coach Weaver, man. I love that guy.
Yep, I loved Weave. He was actually recently on, and you played for him and Coach Garvey, and I believe Coach Upton was there. All three former guests of the show. What was your experience like playing for them?
Oh, I'd run through a wall for those guys, man.
Oh, yeah.
They were intense, and they kept me in line.
For sure.
Fine. on a daily basis. So
Absolutely. Hell, even just interviewing them on here, like I wanted to run through a wall for them, and like I haven't even thought about working out in probably at least 6 years. Like so, like I'm not in shape at all. But like, yeah, they were talking. It's like, man, it makes me want to put the pads back on and start putting suit up again, see what I still got just from listening to them.
Oh yeah, one of my favorite stories. I tell a couple of my friends these stories every once in a while, and they always ask me like, "Come on, tell us some old football stories from Bethany." And I'm like, "All right." And one of my favorite stories of all times when I was there was we were up at Westminster, and I'm playing fullback. It's my junior year, and we're on the goal line. I kick out this DN, and I hammer him, and I get up, and my face mask is touching my face. I mean, it was out of control. And I stand up, my face mask is touching my face. I can't hear out of my left ear, okay? And all I see is rain coming down. These little stars are just drifting down, And I look at Eric Walker, our starting running back at the time, he was a legend at Bethany,
love
man.
Walker. I love Eric Walker.
Walks the man. And I look at him, and he's like, "Lando, you all right?" And I'm like, "Dude, can you, snap in my ear real quick to make sure I can hear something?" He's like, he points over to the sidelines. He's like, "Bro, you got to go, man. Get off the field." I'm like, "I'm serious." So I look over, Coach Weaver is screaming at the top of his lungs at me, "Get off the field." So I come running over, he's screaming at me, and I look at him like my face mask is touching my face, so I take my helmet off, and we score on the next play. And I got to go back in because I long snap and short snap. So I got to go back in and snap the ball again for the extra point. And so I look over at one of my teammates, like, "I borrow your helmet," So he gives me his helmet, go in, snap it. Then I got to run down on kickoff again. I made the tackle. I go in at halftime. Everybody's like, "What the heck happened?" Screaming at me. I'm like, I couldn't hear. My face mask is touching my face. And that's one of my favorite stories of all times at Bethany, man.
What year was that? Because I think I remember that game.
We were up at Westminster. It was like 90 degrees out. It was probably game 4 or 5. I think it was their homecoming. We beat them pretty good, actually.
Okay, because there was something similar. No, never mind. That was Johnny when I was sports director and announcing all the home football games and everything like that. Me and Jared the Juice Martin up in the booth. I remember something like that, but it was Fitty unstrapping his pads and then having to go in and missing an interception, and everyone keeps hounding on him for missing this interception because he literally didn't have his pads strapped at the time. But he told me that, and I asked Weaver about that, and we had a good laugh about that. And of course, Johnny messages me the next day. He's like, "That's not how it happened. Like, this is what happened." All right, man. All right, you're cool. It's back in the heydays. We're just telling stories here, Fitty. Don't worry about it. But he recently just told me, talking that since you were going to be on, he told me, and this is according to him, that you were one of the toughest football players he's ever played with. What was it like being on the team with Fitty and playing with him? Because I know how his energy is now to this day still. So what was it like playing with Fitty?
Fitty was a motivator, man. I mean, every day he'd come out with this, ridiculous energy, just motivating the team, getting the team riled up for practice, the games, Yeah, man, that guy had heart, man. I mean, it was unbelievable how much heart he had. He was a big name on campus, and a lot of school spirit, and you know, he worked hard, and he was a great guy, man.
Yeah,
I
love Fitty to death. It's to the point now, though, like, we talk every day, Fitty and I, and whether it's through text or either over the phone. And it's funny because when my phone goes off, my wife now knows that it's Fitty. And she always makes the joke. She's like, "Is that your husband calling you now? Is that who it is?" Because we talk every day, like whether it's about the show or just calling to shoot the shit. Like, it's just something that we do. Just one of those connections. I love Fitty. I could be dead tired. He calls me, and just talking to him, like, his energy is contagious. Like, it makes me want to get up and go do something. And to the point where, like, I'll come and start editing a video or audio for the show here, like, after talking to him. And my wife's like, "You were, like, half asleep, like, 10 minutes ago. What happened?" I was like, "I talked to Fitty. I don't know. Now I got... It's the best energy drink in the world." Did you have that on the field with him?
Oh, he's like a Red Bull, man. You know. What are those things called? C2s or
C4s? Yeah,
C4s. The whole can of C4 at once, man.
Oh man, I wish we could bottle his energy. We'd be millionaires if we could bottle his energy and sell it as an energy drink. Like, 'cause like that dude just gets everything done. Like, I love him to death, and you know he's been a godsend for this. I mean, he's got me booked out on this show till like almost May. For the listeners out there, the show, yes, it is pre-recorded. It's February 20th right now, and I'm booked out till May with guests coming on the show. So, playing with Fitty, you have to have a good Fitty story of being on the field. This is something I need to hear.
I remember practice one time, you know, we had this star cornerback, and Fitty goes out, you know, mosses him, you know, practice. He's flying around like he just scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl, man. It was great. I mean, the energy was unbelievable, you know. I'll never forget that.
Oh man, yeah. I saw him at his wedding. I mean, the dude didn't sit down barely enough time to eat dinner, and then like he was just up. I think he talked to every single person that was there, like, and at least talked to him, and then was out on the dance floor. Then he was over here. Then he was over there, and my wife just turned me, because this is the first time she actually met Fitty in person, really, for long enough to sit and have a conversation with him. She was just like, "Does he ever stop?" I was like, now you see why our conversations are like 20, 30 minutes long. And when we talk on the phone, like, my man just keeps going for sure. I love him to death. But, so, we talked about BC, but you have your own business right now. So tell everyone what your business is. And, you know, how long have you been doing exactly what you do?
So, right after I graduated from Bethany, I started working for my family's electrical construction company. And I've been here for almost 13 years now. It's called Landco Electric. And we're in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I have been doing purchasing and inventory and buying parts and material for all the jobs and stuff like that for the past 13 years. And so when I was about 25, I want to say, 25, 26, there was something missing, Bono.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wasn't involved in sports anymore, you know?
Right.
And I'm sitting there having dinner at my parents' house one night. I was over, and my dad's like, you should start umpiring baseball. I'm like, heck yeah, man. You know, he's like, I love baseball, you know? He's like, it'd be a good hobby for you, you know? And you get a little extra cash on the side, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah. Yeah. A little extra scratch definitely doesn't hurt, you know what I mean?
Can't hurt. So, it was a blast, though. I started umpiring Little League games and then going to high school, got my PIAA certification, started doing the high school games, and then started doing men's league wooden bat games, all that good stuff. And so I was doing that for a couple of years. I was probably I think I was 28. And I was up in a men's league game. I think it was a 45 and over, you know?
Okay.
And I was like, I want to start playing, you know? And I was like, dude, I ain't dead yet. I gotta get back out there, do something, you know? So, I get in contact with the commissioner of the league, the NABA commissioner, Joe Graff. And I said, Joe, you got to get me on a team, man. And he's like, all right. And so I get on this team down in Riverview. We end up having a blast, man. We actually won the championship the first year I was in the team for the city, and it was a blast, man. I mean, there was probably 10 teams in the league, and it was all over the city, and you know, it was real baseball. And we're head first sliding, all that good stuff, and
getting after it.
Yeah, man. I felt alive again, you know? And so I'd say right when COVID hit, it was the winter before that, me and my friend, TJ Zarowitz, a buddy of mine, he actually played baseball at Bethany also. That's why we became buddies over all the years. We both were in the business administration classes together, and we stayed in contact, and he coaches minor league baseball. So he was home for the winter, and we trained all winter long. I was like, dude, I'm going to give it, give my best shot this year, man, do some good stuff. And COVID hit, and we're hoping the season's going to stay alive. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
So the season ended up staying alive. We ended up having a late season, started about May. And during all that training and stuff, I'm going through all these batting gloves, hitting and stuff like that. I'm like, man, it'd be great to get something out there that's a little more durable, comfortable, and breathable,
Right.
Something going to last a little longer, but at a fair price. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to start my own sports company. And I was like, we're going to call it Sweet Hands.
That's awesome.
Put it all together, man. I put it all together. So it took about a year to get moving because I wanted to try out the gloves. I got a manufacturer that I built a good relationship with, and through some networking and some friends and stuff, and got the demo and used it all summer during the 2020 summer, and then went and played 54 games with the same pair of batting gloves. Right there and then I knew I had a good product.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was hitting every day with them. So I was like, I'm going to build a website, all that good stuff, see how it goes. Keep it basic, white gloves, black gloves. I got 9 different sizes, use small through adult, extra, extra large. And so there's 18 different products. And I launched it in spring of 2021. So it took me about a year to get it all put together and stuff. And then I'd say that the special part about it was the vent we have on the back of our gloves, which adds a little more breathability. The vent technology.
Yeah.
And so what I did was I was like, I gotta get this product out, So I started going to tournaments and stuff like that. all summer long, Little League tournaments, AAU tournaments, selling them there. And people were digging them, man. People were digging them. And so that's what I did probably for the first 2 years. And then after that, I went and started reaching out to some stores and stuff. And we ended up getting them in Played Against Sports down in Greensburg.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, so it's been going pretty well with that. And then got them in Played Against Sports down in Fort Myers about 5 months ago. So we're fully stocked in both stores right now. And you can also purchase them online at sweethandsports.com. And they're for baseball and softball. Yeah, man. So it's moving in the right direction, just keeping it small. Still got my day job, you know. Yeah, man, it's been a process and it's been great though. It's been great. It definitely taught me a lot.
Yeah.
Definitely taught me.
Yeah, I mean, I almost wish I was still in beer league softball, slow pitch softball, so I can get me a pair of gloves, like just to try them out and everything like that. They sound phenomenal. Because I know even just playing, just, you know, the dicking around baseball with, you know, a bunch of older guys and, you know, beer leagues and just kind of having some fun. But there were some guys that took it way too serious. Like, we were just out there to have fun and, like, get out on a Sunday in the summer and, you know, crank a couple dingers, and these guys are out there acting like we're in the Game 7 of the World Series, and it's just like, guys, it's not that serious. This is just beer league. Like, we're not in a tournament right now. If it was a tournament, okay, let's get after it. But, like, I get it. I mean, I get where 2020 kind of made everyone rethink what they wanted to do, because, you know, for the longest time it was, you know, I'm going to be a sports broadcaster. It was the thing with me. Stay in sports. I get to go travel around, talk about sports, and announce games and everything like that. And it did come to fruition. And then, you know, the comedy thing came about with another Bethany alum that got me into it, Tom Nelson. Loved him to death, and, you know, he got me into comedy. But, you know, 2020 happens, and you realize how unimportant comedy is when the world shuts down, and, like, there's no more live entertainment. And, like, so it was kind of like, okay, what do I do now? I still have a day job, but that's not deemed essential. So what do I do now? So I started a coffee company. I started an online coffee brand called Bono's Brew, and we have a bunch of different flavors. Everything's roasted here in the U.S., in Chicago and California. So, I mean, yeah, your mindset kind of switches when, you know, you're forced to do something, but you, like, just a passion for baseball and everything like that, and that's definitely, I mean, coffee's what keeps me going. I guess that could tie that into it. I'm a 3 to 4 cup a day kind of guy.
I'm on the Red Bulls, man.
I was on the Monsters for the longest time, dude. Like, I would get the BFC Monsters and finally, you know, just coming with the age and everything like that, was going for the physical, and they were like, so take me through your daily diet. I was just like, I'm not going to lie to you here, Doc. The only thing keeping me running is caffeine and nicotine. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm not the healthiest person in the world. And he was like, yeah, you need to cut the caffeine, like, way down. I was like, all right. He was like, what do you mean caffeine and nicotine? I was like, well, I drink 2 cups of coffee in the morning, and then I go and get one of the big cans of Monster, and I drink that throughout the day. And then by the time I'm done with my day job, it's empty, and I'm home. And then, yeah, I'll probably drink another cup of coffee before to relax at night. And he was just like, yeah, we need to cut that down to at least 2 cups of coffee. To maybe I'll give you 3, but the Monster's got to go. Like, it's got to go. I was like, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, but I'm on the road a lot too, doing shows and everything like that. Like I'll be in Sanford, Michigan here in a couple of weeks, and then heading down to Louisville, Kentucky the week right after that, and then Fort Wayne, Indiana, then back to Detroit, like for comedy and everything like that, and keeps you busy, keeps you on your toes. But yeah, the long nights, Monster was definitely a help. I got out of Red Bull. I used to drink Red Bulls at Bethany like it was my job. Like it was bad.
Oh man, you know what? I'm not gonna lie, it's my fourth one today, buddy.
Hey, keep going, brother. As long as you can do it, man, keep going, man. I'm not mad at you. But Lando, we are running down near the end of the episode here, but I do got to get this segment in here, otherwise Fitty will kill me, and that is the Fast Fitty 5. 5 random questions from the wonderful manager of the podcast, Johnny Fitty Falcone. And for the new listeners out there, this is kind of rapid fire, but you can elaborate if you need to, Lando. And Lando, he sent these to me today, so we're going to read through these together. Like, he sends these to me at the possible last minute. So if you know, I know you know Fitty. So if you're ready for these, man,
All right, hit me, man.
All right. Question number 1. What is the best topping for a piece of toast?
Jelly.
Jelly? Okay. Question number 2. Kermit the Frog is an overrated or underrated character?
He's underrated.
I can get on board with that. There we go. Now we're getting into it. Question number 3. Who wins in a fight? Travis Kelce or Gronk?
Oh, man. My girlfriend's going to hate me for saying this, but I think Gronk will, man. She's a big Taylor Swift fan.
No, Gronk wins that fight. I'm sorry. I love Travis Kelce. Like, he's a hell of a tight end, but Gronk wins that fight 9 times out of 10.
Gronk, man. Yeah, he's a tough dude. I actually played against him in high school, but yeah, he's a tough dude, man. He's a bad dude.
Yeah, for sure. Question number 4. Would you rather have your nickname be the Hammer or the Bull?
The Bull.
Okay. All right. I need an elaboration on the Bull. I'm sorry. I need to know why the Bull.
The Bull? Next question.
Gotcha. All right. Question number 5. Who wins the 2024 World Series?
2024 World Series. I'm going with the Rays, man. I'm going with the Rays. They were hot last year at the beginning, and I think they're going to finish hot this year.
That's not a bad pick.
I'm a Buccos fan, though. You know.
I mean, yeah, so am I. But that's just that's a tough fan base to be. I'm glad we got McCutchen back, but we need some more pieces to make a run. Oh, for that, that was the Fast 55. I mean, he took it a little easy on you, Lando. I'm not going to lie to you here. He's had a weird obsession with animals. I'm surprised there wasn't an animal question in here, because Fitty with his random ass questions, right?
Yeah, we had the bull.
Yeah, he had the bull. Oh, but yeah, I mean. Oh yeah, I don't even know where to go from that. Like that's a tough one to end on. But yeah, so like I said, we're running down near the end of the episode here, Lando. I give every guest this opportunity at the end of every show. If there's anything you want to get out there, anything you want to promote, whether it's your glove company or even if it's just a good message, I'm going to give you about a minute, man. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I just want to thank. The big man upstairs, of course. And, he's number 1 in my heart. And, it's a blessing being on this show. And I truly appreciate it, Bono, Fitty. You guys are great, man. And if anybody out there is in need of batting gloves this 2024 season, feel free to check out sweethandsports.com. and sweeten that style, baby.
That is awesome. Yeah, everyone, definitely all the baseball players out there from young to the pros, go ahead and get you some of those sweet hands and see if we can up that batting average for you a little bit here from my man Matt Lando for sure. That is going to do it for this week's episode of the Ride Home Rants podcast. I want to thank my guest, Matt Landowski, for coming on the show. It was a lot of fun catching up with you, brother. As always, if you enjoyed the show, be a friend, tell a friend. If you didn't, tell them anyways. They might like it just because you didn't. That's going to do it for me, and I will see y'all next week. The Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by W Energy. Energy drinks made for gamers, streamers, and podcasters alike. For gamers, streamers, and podcasters alike. Go to the link in the description where you can find the best energy drinks out there. Less caffeine than a cup of coffee. Also, no jitters and no crash afterwards. Use the promo code Mike Bono and get yourself 10% off. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by my favorite sponsor of the show, and that is Shankit Golf. Golf apparel made for the everyday golfer. We might not go out and shoot a 6 under par. We're probably going to shoot a 6 over par, but this is going to give us the gear that's going to help us rock it on and off of the course. Go to the link in the bio, use the promo code Mike Bono, and get yourself 10% off there as well.